Oh wow, False Alchemist says, for the record, I never once knew about Resonance of Fate or Eternal Sonata until I watched you, so I hold you wholly accountable for my investment in these weird, obscure JRPGs none of my friends play. It is a dangerous, it's a slippery slope situation, right? Because like once you become like a Resonance of Fate and or Eternal Sonata person, like you are part of a world most people will never understand. And like there's a whole bunch more obscure JRPGs out there that I haven't necessarily delved into. If I may ask, False Alchemist, if you weren't familiar with either of those, which are like the major onboarding points for the Renegade Constabulary, what, how did you find our channel? Anyway, ahoy, landlubbers, this me, your Captain Vasco speaking. And boy, is my stress level elevated. I've been talking with these lovely folks who showed up here for what I'm calling, I guess, like, Strong Week Observed. I think I titled the stream Quantum Strong Week. And here's the reason for that. As you may or may not remember, I assume a large number of people don't recall this very specific detail, but Strong Week is the first full week of February. And this year, that happens pretty late because uh, it was still January last Monday. And so technically, Strong Week proper doesn't start until next week. But I wanted to start this early, both for, you know, people interested in Residents of Fate and Strong Week and just like doing it now, and also because I hoped to upload these to the Renegade Constabulary channel for the enjoyment of all who celebrate. There is, however, a dilemma that has been addressed to some extent here in chat, which is this. I realized only extremely late into my process of preparing for this year's Strong Week celebration that I'm not going to call it a solution, that's probably overselling it. A way to address some of the criticisms from last year's uploaded VODs about visual quality would be to actually just physically play this on the PS4. I was playing last year on the PS5, which, you know, is more powerful, and so I thought I was going to get a better experience, and it does, you know, visually it works quite well on my end. However, there's something about the PS4 emulation that makes the recordings just a lot worse. There is some level of, like, artifacting I've found just sort of generally playing on the PS4 version as well, but it is significantly reduced from trying to do it on the PS5. So I asked people here, how do we feel about that? And the overwhelming response in the short term has been, just play it on PS5, because the main solution would be to start Resonance of Fate entirely over again. And I'm not super thrilled about that. I'm not sure anyone here is like super thrilled about that idea. Now, the caveat here is, I think I might be able to move the save file over to the PS4 by tomorrow. And if I could do that, then I will ask again, based on today's experience, what people would like to do. But for now, we're going to play on the PS5 because that is what we've decided. We've mostly decided to put off the decision, which is how I often live my life. Everyone's welcome. Also, I'm sorry. Also, I appreciate False Alchemist's answer to my earlier question of how did you find our channel if you were not a fan of either of the deeply obscure games that we are most known for playing? The answer is, I don't know, in all caps with several question marks, and I'm totally here for it. Also, hello, Neko, and thank you for the 45-month resub. Welcome to Strong Week Observed, aka Quantum Strong Week, aka is Strong Week happening early or late? Because it's sort of both. Oh, Final Fantasy X. Okay, that does make sense. And then you just like found other stuff on the channel. Well, hey, I appreciate that. I appreciate everyone who's watching here live now and everyone watching on our YouTube channel, and I need to consult with someone about this, but I may be able to share a very fun Strong Week surprise later in Strong Week, and also I imagine I would probably do this like at the start of next weekend's streams. So stay tuned for that, or ignore it if I did not manage to get the proper approval to do that thing. Anyway, yeah, I've been talking for a while, but I think you're all here for Resonance of Fate. Now, I've tried my very best to make this very best, and I apologize for if it's bad. But as I said to the people watching live, you are allowed to hate the quality here and to voice your opinions. And it's definitely possible that even if people watching live are okay with the PS5 version, that once we get feedback from the start of Strong Week, that we will port the save file and do whatever I can to do the whatever, finish the thought. We've been talking about this for a while, but let's resonate in a destined fashion. So since it's been not quite a year, because last year I was like, you know what, it's been forever since I finished Resonance of Fate. I'm gonna play through to the end, and then like I don't know. I somehow kind of got burned out, but I think more than being burned out on just, like, continuously playing Resonance of Fate on stream, it was just sort of like, it's kind of hard to... Considering that I only have time for, like, 2 streams on a normal week, like, it's kind of difficult to just play the same thing during that time slot, like, continuously forever. And so at a certain point, I was like, I think I just want to move back to, like, variety, do some other stuff. And we can always revisit this for Strong Week. So we left off at the end of chapter 10, which is... I don't remember the name. I actually could find it relatively easily. 10 is... Someone in chat's going to know it before I say it. The Seminary. Which I don't remember how that ties to the part of the story that I recall. I believe that is the second time you, like, lose a party member, and you have to go back to Silver Canyon to get the medicine for Leanne? Or... no. It's like the second time you go to Silver Canyon. Yeah, for the medicine. The first time's for the wine. Right. That was mostly correct. But that means that we're picking up with Chapter 11, A Place to Lay Emotion Down, which also means that we're going to do a boss battle that I don't remember how to do. And I remember a year ago finding a really good guide for this, and I didn't save it, so... We're probably going to spend a whole lot of time battling Cardinal What's-His-Face, Lagerfeld? It's going to be a time. Do not get your hopes up for something on that magnitude, Neko. I would not be able to give no information if I had some sort of self-commissioned plushie available. No, we're not... I'm not nearly successful enough for that. If you want that to happen, the best thing you can do is get like several thousand people interested in watching my content. At that point, I will probably be able to make enough profit off of that it could physically happen. Regrettably, no, we're not there. Anyway, I've been talking for so long without doing anything, it's really upsetting to me. Pick up my sweet outfit. Also, Scraw. If you haven't been watching my live streams since the last Strong Week, I've added a lot of trigger fire options, sure. Which basically means that chat has a soundboard of sound effects from various games that we've played on stream, and they can use their channel points to make random sounds and noises. You may hate this, you may love it. I don't know. I'm kind of into it. I'm here for it. Chat seems to like it. And Sean, I'm sorry, Sean? Was that Sean? From classic pseudo-adventure game Heavy Rain. Another Renegade Constabulary classic. We did 5 minutes to time that scroll to line up with the loading screen of the game. You do good work, False Alchemist. I'm really proud of you. So, I think we saved at the end of the chapter and didn't advance. Is that where we're at? That's most likely where we are at. Yep, that sounds right. Alright, I figured it out, everyone. 6 hours later, I'm ready to start the stream. Sean. This may continue for some time. Chapter 10, Endo. Watashi no Turn. Might as well save my progress. Probably on this one. As a reminder to no one, including myself, we have 3 save files we're alternating between as a safety measure for, I don't know, something happening. And we also have a blank save on 2, and then a save on 1 that will be for whenever we reach Christmas, so that we can save Christmas. So we could probably just have a Christmas Resonance of Fate stream every year, I think is the reasoning. Anyway. Look, it sir doesn't belong in this game, sort of. It's a really generous definition of cardinal. Also, let me know if the game needs to be turned up.
Your judgment. Does it never falter? Does it never err? I know it's never had room for emotion. I don't let feelings cloud my judgment either. How could I?
Try to adjust on the fly here. Let me know when it's good.
I think it's time to find a place where those feelings belong.
Looks like it's probably fine. I want to be able to talk over it if I need to.
My lord.
But, it should also definitely still be audible. Okay, we're liking this. Alright. I was trying to adjust those settings based on the, title screen cutscenes. And, like, the ambient music just gets, like, so loud in those, it was really difficult to
I
gauge.
came to say goodbye. Not as a cardinal, but as a friend.
Hi, I hope you die. See you never.
Just like old times.
I don't think he opened that bottle. Whoops, Butterfingers.
Well aged. A good bottle.
You should know you gave it to me.
As a cardinal.
Unfortunately, I filled it with mud after
myself
drinking
get
its
too caught up
contents.
in the little things.
Don't be too hard on yourself. What could be smaller than the troubles between two people?
You're right. All we've ever done is choose between good and evil as it suits us. That's why there's nothing I want more than to kill him.
This is how I feel after work sometimes.
God walks among us here.
Nothing I
If you
want
think
more
God
than to
bothers
kill
with
these people.
lives, you'll never find a place for those feelings.
This is staged like some really avant-garde play.
I want to fall.
Like, that whole scene was staged so that like, the two of them never made any kind of eye contact, which I think was supposed to be for, like, dramatic effect, but it seems kind of silly, doesn't it? Helpfully, if you are confused about where we're at in the plot by trying to pick this up at the start of Strong Week this year, it's okay, because nothing will ever make sense of the plot of this game. It will always be confusing.
Really what you wanted.
Still no eye contact.
How can I
But
turn
we
it
did get some
into
butt
something
contact from the camera.
that I've chosen for myself?
I think his hair moved a little bit at the end of that
Sure.
scene. Whoop, whoop, whoop. A place to lay emotion down! Only Tech were here. He sent me a text that he's in Canada right now. And I don't know any more than that. I have no idea why he's in Canada, but apparently he's in Canada today.
Well, isn't this a surprise? What's it been? 1, 2 years?
I gotta love that caution truck exit sign with a tow truck on it
Business?
that I know I've
I'm
seen
looking for
before.
a boy named Zephyr. It's my understanding you've taken him in.
Oh, I don't think he's around, actually. Yeah, I remember him saying something about going on a trip.
I think he said he was getting ready to go out.
Be sure to give him the message.
I never stopped investigating the incident.
There's an awful lot of quotation marks there, huh?
Tying.
That's in the past.
I think someone accidentally used, like, double quotes instead of single quotes, which ended up with, like, quadruple quotation marks.
I think
Yeah.
I may have come around to your way of thinking on that.
The original doesn't have the,
I
like,
haven't
errant
come to
quotation
you as a
marks, right?
cardinal
That's like a
in
remake
service of
thing,
his
I think?
God. I'm here as an ordinary man.
Well then, I don't see much reason to let you in.
So you judge.
But I
your
have the
words
stupidest
of my
hat, and thus you
Kill
must
me
listen
now,
to
then,
me.
while you have the chance, the next time we meet, we'll be enemies. Or maybe we can come to an arrangement. If it's money you want, name your price.
Babes?
How much money? How much, though?
Zephyr! Do you still have the scriptures, boy? We have much to discuss, you and I. There's a bridge nearby. Meet me there and we'll talk. Just the two of us.
There's a bridge where it's perpetually raining. I can't remember the name of this rainy bridge, but hopefully you know it. It's surprisingly close to your home.
Find Zephyr.
So, he went.
Well, aren't we going to go help him?
He made his bed. Let him lie in it.
Are you serious?
You know, this series of cutscenes gives like a pretty good look at the inside of Sweet Home in some like weird angles and corners you don't normally see. I feel like if you made this house in The Sims, your Sims like room appreciation value or whatever would just be in like the bottom of the toilet at all times. It's just like all this like exposed metal and grating that leads to nowhere. They have like one little table that has like enough space for like one person to have a cup of tea at it. And they have like 40,000 road signs. It screams like they just like took over an abandoned warehouse or something and just like got exactly enough furniture to like accomplish the bare minimum of what a human does in a day. So let's like real quick check our equipment. Remove. I don't think I want that. Really want barrier padding? I don't think he does any elemental stuff. As I was saying before, I know that there is some, like, relatively straightforward strategy to, taking this guy out that I'm not smart enough to do. Also, it's been so long since I've, like, seen how these things are equipped. Have a strong week, EV Point Master. Welcome to the stream. Nico says they actually liked it. All that junk counts as decoration, and Sims don't care about colors. That's... okay. That sounds plausible. But you say that as though that's proven, Neko. Did you somehow recreate Sweet Home in The Sims? Because I feel like that's not possible. Yeah, whatever's about to happen, it's like mostly going to be me suffering. I'm like pretty sure. I'm gonna...
Since I was out on my own.
Yeah, I can't save, so we might end up having to like skip those cutscenes if this goes extremely badly. It actually seems pretty difficult to imagine that, but... Is the cone him? Okay, him is the cone. Ah, yes. You've met me here on scenic... Wet Crossing? I just can't think of the name. Damp Threshold? Help me out. It's gonna bother me all day.
I'm glad you came, Zephyr. Do you remember me? I was the witness.
Do you
assigned
think
to
me
your
beautiful?
execution. My name is Lagerfeld. I was once cardinal of the 10th Diocese of Chandelier. I've come to bury the grief of the bereaved and the dead. And if I'm lucky, my own.
It's really necessary to have these glasses on for this battle.
When, from the far end of the hall, a muffled scream rang out. It had begun.
Don't.
We arrived 20 minutes later. When I saw the carnage that awaited us, it was beyond all imagining. Tell me,
Tell
what
me.
did the girl slumped in the corner of the alcove say before she died? The explosion wreaked such damage, many of the corpses were beyond recognition. How should we mark their graves? The mother of a boy whose body was riddled with bullets said she could forgive you. Tell me, why did you live while they died?
I don't know, like courts or something?
Worth more than theirs. It sickens me to even look at you. Your life is a blasphemy. Your very existence shakes the foundation of faith. Only
That sounds like a
your
personal
death
problem.
will satisfy me.
I feel like the boss music should then be Benny Benassi's Satisfaction. And I encourage you to look up that absolutely ridiculous music video if you've never seen it before.
No thanks. I'm only here to kill you.
This battle is just a pretense to tell you the truth.
What truth?
Zephyr, you may have been misguided, but you were never...
Obi-Wan lied to you. I'm your father. Paul Sackman says, I forgot this dude straight up brings a fancy stick to a gunfight. Yeah, but he's also like a teleporting wizard, so it's more like some sort of like clock mage's staff or something. So Neko points out that Zephyr broke his shield in a cutscene. It's true, I've never considered it that way, or at least I don't remember considering that. I think I might have remembered what the trick is, but I think I'm gonna do this wrong. Let's find out together, shall we? That is the trick. The trick is, you have to shoot him from behind or else he teleports. Don't know why I suddenly remembered that during the cutscene, because I never knew that until I, like, tried to look up this fight in preparation for being terrible at it, like, 10 months ago. And then, like, all of a sudden, during that cutscene, I was like, oh, he'll teleport if he sees me! The sky, it's raining. It's a heavy... Oh, man, can you imagine a heavy rain bridge? And then, like, having a boss battle with, like, Fat Batman? I think he's gonna turn at some... Yeah, he turned there. Alright, we're gonna break that off. Because he's, like, already recovering it a little bit. Guess we should probably, like, break his gauge. Yeah, that's what we're gonna try to do. I teleported. Yeah. Now, the problem is I have 3 bezels left. So we gonna see how that all goes. Of like every boss battle in this game, this is probably the one to like least experience the artifacting effects from the PS5 emulation, so that's something. That's pretty good. Yeah, we're gonna shoot that. It's not bad. This is gonna be... Ow. He also brought several floating knives to a gunfight, but like, when you see it happen, you're like, no, that doesn't seem stupid. That actually seems like workable. They try to break his gauge, but don't jump so more bullets hit his body. I honestly can't tell if that would make a difference. I truly, truly can't. Could be about... Yeah, that should be full. So if I survive this... I feel good about the fact that that didn't take 16 tries. Hey, I encourage you, at some point, to go back and watch Tech and I try and do these battles in the past, because we're terrible at them.
She gave you. Did you ever open it to the last page?
It's just signed Love, Margaret. I thought that was a fun fact.
Inside the back cover.
I don't remember this.
This is my sister.
There were a lot of orphans in that school. If you hadn't been so stubborn, I could have told you the truth.
This, whatever this argument is, it's very ridiculous. Ooh, my organs, my squeedly spooch.
Their blood is on your hands!
He was filled with down. He was a goose the whole time. Goose game. It is kind of funny, just based on the mechanics of this world, that, like, you can use a machine gun to shoot someone with, like, literally, like, over 100 scratch damage bullets, but, like, someone can still get killed by, like, one bullet in a cutscene.
Man.
You forgot your umbrella.
Idiot! You wanted to die, didn't you?
Wouldn't it be better that way? I should be dead.
You think that can make up for what you did? Not even
That a sign that just
close.
said grapes in the background? I'm gonna say probably, but I didn't notice it. I was trying to notice some of the signs during the previous cutscenes, but I didn't pick out any that were particularly good. Grapes is
You're
good.
going to die. At least die with courage.
Why am I even alive?
Yeah, grapes. 1 to 85 Mackenzie.
You hadn't been there.
It looked like it said open 8 a.m. to 16 p.m., which you could technically write, I guess. More like military time, though. Hey, we did that in one try, and I remembered a useful fact if you're playing through this game. Because if you, like me, have no idea how to, like, consistently beat that fight, there you go, there's your pro tip. Have to shoot him in the back.
Then
Says something about your
I can
character.
die.
I like the consistency of the weird physics here in the sky town of Basel. He just sort of, like, hops, like, vertically, like, 10 feet down and is fine.
Follow me unconditionally. It is because you have placed your trust in me that others lend me their support.
I hadn't realized.
That's just as well. It's enough that you go on being yourself. I don't know what I'd do without you.
Can I get up? This position's very uncomfortable.
Anturian was a trusted ally. A true friend. With a shared vision for our future.
How much drinking there was in this game.
Now, he grows more distant with each passing day. Lagerfeld is gone too. The cardinals have been scattered on the wind. It will never be as it was in Frida's day again.
You're even less pleasant today than you usually are.
This is how people normally greet me, and I think I should be hurt.
Eccentric maniac Aureliano pledged his loyalty to Frida.
You loved her.
I mean, I think he also pledged his loyalty
I
to,
did.
like, a statue.
Lagerfeld, Anturian, that freak Aureliano. She brought them all into her dream. Her dream of a world of everlasting happiness. I was so close to being utterly alone. I don't know what I would have done without you.
Advance to the next chapter. No, that's insane. Why is that even an option? I mean, I know that the answer is because we finished the chapter mission and got our cutscene, but, like, that was all mandatory. We had to do all of that right away. I love that I make this passing reference to making a Sim Sweet Home, and apparently, like, Neko's, like, been there, done that. She, like, measured the relative distance of the jumping down hole in the roof. Were the Sims able to jump down the hole? Also, False Alchemist recommends that we add "What Have We Here" to the soundboard, and you're not wrong about that, huh? You're not wrong about that. The trick is always getting clean audio, which I should be able to do in this game, but I don't know that I have a convenient save file to grab it from. Also, I think this game is still suitably obscure that it won't be available online. I've mentioned this in other streams, but if you don't watch normally, I there's a couple like Eternal Sonata quotes that I want to get, but there is like search as much as you want, you will not find audio clips for like anything from Eternal Sonata online. Like there's a handful of things you'll find that have like background music in them and stuff that's not great for those purposes. Use the 360p video. No, I'm not. I'm already annoyed enough about the babe from 12 minutes having like some weird distortion in it I couldn't get rid of. I'm not willingly going to get the 360p original playthrough videos audio. Especially since like I don't know that I could sufficiently isolate it. Well, I probably could from what was the Resonance Science Theater is the one that has our commentary. What's the one that just is the cutscenes? Yeah, we should equip people with guns. So you had ammo, and you had element protector? It was element protector. Is this a good time to change people? What are our levels? Zephyr's at 24, 25, 24, 24, 24, 23. I guess Vacheron could stand to be on machine gun. What's the way that I... also, fun fact, if for some reason, like, your... If this shows up in your subscription feed and you haven't thought about Resonance of Fate in a while, and maybe you missed last year's Strong Week, I did get my very first knife kill last year, that was a lot of fun for me. It wasn't good because it was a knife kill in a gunfight game. Oh god, what's the one I had equipped? What's the one that's okay? It's the one that's equipped. It's the heavy one. It's this one with all the barrels on it. It's this one. This earlier message, but you put every detail in. Leanne's ceiling fan, Zephyr's brooding window and chair, the little TV, the dartboard. I mean, that's pretty good. I know, not enough barrels. Can you ever have enough barrels, though? I like that the game will let you sort of, like, back out of this screen if, like, no one has anything equipped, but if you equip just a scratch damage weapon, it's like, hold up. I don't think that's right. So you can have the magazine case and my beloved auto trigger for the sake of sanity, and think there's any poison stuff. Mighty Suit? Yeah, Mighty Suit's pretty good. Why not? You have like the lowest health, I think, by default, which is where you get barrier padding, and you get one of my beloved auto triggers, and you get just some sort of thing. Wait, who has less grenade? Like, got it. Okay. No, that's right. And then you can has other handgun and grenades. I won't remember to use grenades. That's too much of high-level thinking. Oh no, the Sims save file is gone because it died with your old laptop. RIP. Can we get some Fs in chat for Neko's lost Sims save file? It feels appropriate. Okay, so... Right. I did just enough research to pretend, like, feign competence here. So let's go to the guild house. Pretty sure we have to do that first, even though there's a quicker way to, like, get to one of our missions. I think we have to actually get it first. I believe that is how cause and effect still works, although here in 2022, not entirely certain that that still holds true. Great. So let's take the shortcut. Should be this one. Isn't it her? I thought it was her. I thought she was supposed to be outside. Is it because it's night? No, she's just here. I'm making new outfits, but I can't dye them to the colors I want. There's only so much I can do with these mundane dyes. So I want you to find me an iris stone, or an iris tone, which is said to make mystical dyes. Oh, magic just happens to exist now, but it only applies to clothes and that one guy's stick that summons flying knives. Actually, that's a really good point. Like, there's a bunch of, like, mutant things in Basel. Is there something else I'm not immediately thinking of that just, like, straight up has magic? Or is, like, Lagerfeld, like, the last wizard or something? Great.
Ooh.
I don't have it, right? Okay, for some reason I thought that symbol was the, like, you already have it. And I'm like, that doesn't sound right. I'm pretty sure that's wrong. Okay, so for that quest, we have to go to the Fraud Remnants. And it's unclear to me why we started pronouncing it that way, because it's like, it's clearly Freud, but it's Fraud, you know? Do you understand what I mean? So, we must go to the down. Use Brink with down. Might have to do some red squares at some point. Alright, let's get back in the hang of things. I don't know if we're bad enough dudes to take these guys on. EV Point Master says, don't forget that Peter can shoot heart lasers with his finger guns. Yeah, but like, I think Peter is just like a straight up angel. I don't know that like physical laws apply to him, you know? I think it's just different. Yeah, I mean, like, they're level 4 and there's 3 of us. I'm a little worried about this fight, but with the power of triangles, we might be able to do it, you know? Should have switched to grenades just for obnoxiousness' sake.
Ooh, if that was wrong.
It was wrong to murder those guys in cold blood. I don't want to be right. Bum, bum, bum. Bum, bum, bum. Gosh, sometimes I forget how good the music in this game is, because it's really good. Cotillion in chat years ago literally gifted me, like, the full, like, soundtrack box set. It was very generous. I, like, ripped all of them to one of my computers. I don't have it on my stream computer. I should have probably just do that, huh? Not that I, like, listen to music all that much. I don't remember that red square. I did all of them. That might be new. That might be too high level for me. One of the weird things about the red squares in this game is that, like, there's really no indication of whether it's, like, physically possible for you to beat the thing by looking at it. You really just have to save and then go in and then figure it out. Yeah, here. Do I care about this terminal? This is likelihood of status ailments. Do I care about that? Masquerader, I think that's a Yu-Gi-Oh card. I think it has 900 attack points, and then when it deals damage to an opponent, you draw a card. Why do I remember this? I don't know. Look, my brain does things good, but not good things. It remembers all sorts of useless facts and statistics about card games I haven't played in a long time. Do you think that there's, like, a better use for that brain space? Yeah, definitely. But am I gonna get there? No. I'm gonna hit this guy with a grenade. What's the one that makes the... Is it... It's not that. It's weird touchpad button. Am I on? 9. Oh no, that's my level. I'm on basically nothing. It's Molotov.
I like it a lot.
I did. Look, I remembered to use the grade. Is someone in chat proud of me? Unclear. The world may never know. We did hero gauge up before, which is nice. Because now we have, like, an actual, like, full number of gauges. Bezel gauge? Bezel? Ooh, which is the one I'm supposed to go into? I think it's east, but I don't remember. Because I'm stupid. Energy station. And I know, even though I'm consciously thinking about it now, I know that somehow I'm gonna forget to, like, switch off the grenades and do something stupid. I think it's east. And not west. I think it's east. It's possible it's west, I don't know. Well, it's kind of you to say, Neko. It's probably not wise to always be proud of me. I am usually doing something wrong. Brag dwellest. Well, I don't think this is the place, but I might as well kill it, I guess. I can't not go, as I am already here. I don't like the configuration of this. It's true. You can use the right stick to figure out where the anchor is. I don't think that's extreme. Like, this is actually a pretty good case for trying to do that. Because from here it's difficult to tell if you're, like, landing on the box or not. But when I was trying to test something yesterday for the video, and I was, like, doing a recording, I'm like, why do the controls for this game suddenly feel insane? I know how to play this game, and it was like, before I did my last save file, I, like, pressed right stick in for something, and then it was just, like, following the point marker, and I'm like, why? I don't understand why it works this way, and I hate it! And I didn't remember that I had done that. Hi, it's Bunny, welcome to the stream. I hope you're doing well. We're playing Resonance of Fate. I don't remember if you know what this game is. Is there another enemy? I thought it was just this one guy. Oh, he's, like, very dead. I got that scratch damage full. I mean, I guess I might as well throw another grenade at this guy, right? Like, that's gonna be, like, a lot of grenade experience, probably. Do it. No, but, like, hit him, though? Okay, great. Hooray! Grenades! I kind of expected that to level me straight up, but it didn't. Oh, I'm not... That was random encounter. That's why I'm confused. Is this the correct place? It would be the next room, so I do not yet know. This might be the right place, I've determined. Based on specifically no information at all. So do you have secret friends over here? You got dog. Okay. Probably gonna, like, send folks out here to the wasteland. Stuff will come that way, maybe. Is this? Yeah, that's probably fine. Oh, I should target the correct thing, though. That would help. Was that scratch damage full, or was that just, like, a bad time to be that guy? It'll be about here, I think. And this time, I'm targeting the correct fellow. Oh, and you targeted, like, a reasonable target afterwards. I'm like, really proud of you, camera. I know that at all times you're drunk because you're part of this game with the wino albino and all that. Ow, it's extremely rude to just throw a grenade at strangers. Didn't anyone ever tell you that? Oh, there's some predictive geometry I could do here that makes sense, but I don't know what it is. Because now they're all, like, over here, and I want to be, like, over there making, like, triangles. But, like, how do I get them over there? Probably by being closest to them. We'll attempt this. This one's called Ganghound. You can sort of read stuff in this version. Sometimes the background gets in the way. I probably shouldn't break his gauge if I want him to go a particular place. This one I feel less bad about. Right, because I did it that way, my options are limited. So I could start setting up a triangle over there, which feels like overkill, but like... I mean, we all kind of like having a bunch of resonance points, right? That's why we resonate so strongly with our fates or whatever. Break it. Get dunked on, Gage. Ow. No, I want to be up there. I mean, this guy's got to be, like, full, right? Yeah, he's, like, just stuffed to the rafters with scratch damage. I mean, look at all this damage they're doing. Oh, I'm in such trouble. How am I ever going to get out of this situation? All I have are a bunch of bezels and resonance points. Destroy the gauge. Ah, more damage. Well, if I don't do something fast, they're gonna take me out. So I think it's... I mean, I guess I'm just gonna have to try attack. Yeah. Yeah.
This is it.
Here's a question for those of you who play this game at home. You ever do this? You ever just, like, completely overkill someone so you just take advantage of, like, try attacks for fun? Have we here? Is he gonna clip that wall? A little bit. That's pretty fun, though. Music's so good. Yeah, this is the place. Elemental Hero Wingman.
Time to go getting sloppy.
Didn't I say something about I didn't expect there to be poison here? Does anyone remember that? I feel like that was recently. Whoops. Probably not. Wise.
Something to take you to the next one.
Oh, got a couple of his limbs that way. I mean, probably like that. Probably just want to break his gauge if possible. We'll just do like one big charge and see what we hit. Like, not impressive. Wow. I mean, he is level 100. Let's not take for granted the fact that he is level 100. And we definitely didn't break his gauge, which isn't great for me. We're gonna try that again. Okay, that time we did broke his gauge. This is better than... This doesn't seem great. I think this is a better triangle. I'm gonna jump over him, but I don't think I... he's not that tall. Can I jump over this guy? Okay, I can jump over this particular guy. Oh, I got scratch damage full. Wow, I'm really lucking out on that, huh? Is it grenade time again? This is, like, not, like, a reasonable use of... I mean, it actually is an extremely reasonable use of resources, because grenades are, in my opinion, at the level of play I'm at, which is, like, probably above average, but definitely not peak. I feel like the main purpose of grenades in this game is, like, a supplement to your like level and experience. So like when you get a level 100 character scratch damaged full inexplicably, I think that's a really good time to use a bunch of Molotov cocktails. It sounds stupid, but like I'm going to do it. Gonna hit his arm. Got him. I'm sorry. I apologize to you, but I need to back that up for a second. Did Zephyr just say, I want to be stronger, I want to breathe smoke? Was that 6 levels? Oh god, it was. 59 to 65. I mean, we scratch damage full of level 100 character. We're at like 30 or something? No, we're like mid-30s, I think. And we got Iris Tone. Wow, this is going far better than it has any right to. Not anything else here, right? No, we're good. I mean, that guy did do a bunch of damage to Vacheron, but it wasn't actually poison, even though he's got those characteristic green hues. And luckily, the protagonist of Yu-Gi-Oh! GX isn't here to, like, I don't know, somehow, like, Monster Reborn Elemental Hero Tarman?
I danced everyone to sleep.
Exit the area. So we don't even have to, like, rest? We can just leave?
I can do this.
And there's something we should do on the way back to town. I feel like killing this guy just for fun. Which, you know, I also get in trouble for that in real life, which, like, I don't know, man. I'm so sensitive. He definitely Pot of Greed you. Wait, could you help me out? What does Pot of Greed even do? I mean, I'm pretty sure I've heard of that, and I know, like, a lot of obscure card game facts, but, like, it just seems so difficult to remember what that specific card does for some reason. Does anyone know what Pot of Greed does? I love that when you leader assault, all the hats fly off like the extra characters. I don't know if you've ever noticed that. You probably have, but I think it's really funny. I mean, I just feel like if someone could, like, explain to me ad nauseum what the card Pot of Greed does, it would really help me out. Like, if, like, literally every single time any person used it for any reason, under any circumstance, they explained what it did, it would help me to understand. I'll try not to belabor this joke further. But if you know what's up, you might find it funny. I have actually been watching the most recent Yu-Gi-Oh! Series, Yu-Gi-Oh! Vrains, finally, for like the first time. Even though it like originally came out in like 2017 or something. It sure exists, technically. Every like 20 episodes or so, there's like a really interesting philosophical discussion about the future of technology. And every like 8 episodes, there's like a recap episode, which is garbage and I hate it. I'm just gonna smash all these gauges. I wonder what kind of license you need to operate heavy machinery in this world, because I feel like, you know, you kind of have to have gun skills just to, like, literally walk around in the sky town of Basel. But then I feel like if you were to go inside, like, a crane or just some equivalent, like, heavy machinery, if you saw gauges in it, you'd just be compelled to break them. Just smash those gauges. Is Brain's the VR surfing one? Yes, correct. It is weird. It's a weird one. I mean, just the fact that that is, like, factually correct is, like, a thing. I mean, from the makers of card games on motorcycles, can I introduce you to surfing in VR? Yeah, that's, I mean, I think that's a pretty good read. Cat asks, isn't Link summoning the special, like, technique of that series? Basically just tribute summoning, except it uses Link instead of rank. Yes, but furthermore, the other, like, major distinction about it, other than the fact that it has arrows on it that, like, affect what things it can do on the field, it counts as a special summoning. So even if you've already used your normal summon, you can Link summon, which I assume is mainly for anime reasons of letting characters do, like, 30-minute turns so that they can, like, do something more visually exciting. Because that's how that anime works now. Like, if you enjoyed the original Yu-Gi-Oh! Series and you jump straight to Yu-Gi-Oh! Vrains, yeah, Yu-Gi-Oh! Is sort of having a spike in popularity now because they just released an app called Master Duel. And I hear a lot of, like, chatter about it online because I follow, like, card game things. And, like, someone somewhere posted, like, comparing, like, a single turn of, like, Yugi from the original Yu-Gi-Oh! Versus Yusaku from Yu-Gi-Oh! Vrains. And it's literally, like, Yugi's sort of like, oh, man, I drew a very good card this turn. This will change the outcome of the duel. I set one card face down and end my turn. And then there's, like, literally, like, a 10-minute montage of just, like, all right, I do this, and I remove a creature from my graveyard, and that lets me, like, do a special summon. And then when I do a special summon, I summon something from my hand. That activates the effect of my continuous spell, which lets me, like, tutor a card out of my deck. And when I play that, it finds a creature that I can special summon right away. And it, like, no joke, it just, like, goes on like that, like, all the time. It's wild. But they break the rules in the anime all the time anyway. I don't follow the actual cards as closely as I used to, because it's a very expensive game, and I already don't use my money well. But my understanding, my impression is that they do less literal cheating now, but, like, that's because the actual game is kind of just, like, cheating all the time. Like, all the cards are so powerful that if you just describe their actual effect, it seems like you're cheating.
What's it like?
Like, you know that sensation of, like, kids playing pretend or whatever? And like, basically, like, nuh-uh, because, like, I'm rubber and you're glue and whatever you say bounces off me and sticks to you. And just, like, you know, coming up with, like, nonsense. Like, that's kind of what it seems like to just play modern Yu-Gi-Oh! You're like, haha, you don't have any traps, so you can't interact with me. It's like, well, actually, I have, like, a monster in my hand that I can, like, summon for free if you attack me, and it, like, negates one of your monster's effects, so that you can't use that to, like, destroy my monster this turn. So, like, even though, like, it looks like I have no defenses, like, I'm actually perfectly fine. Yes, Patertopoulos. To Patertopoulos. Sitting with your ghost tricks, meanwhile your opponent's gone through their deck of 40 cards 12 times already to put you at negative 8,000. Yeah, it's like that. So some of the, you know, people are really frustrated with the state of the Magic the Gathering arena, which is like the Magic the Gathering app, basically. And they've made, like, a bunch of decisions in recent history that I really won't go into, but, like, basically, like, there's a lot of, like, disenfranchisement right now, and, like, people, like, aren't into the stuff going on. And so, like, when this Yu-Gi-Oh! Game came out, like, a bunch of, like, Magic players started trying it, and at first they're like, oh yeah, like, I remember this anime, like, cool, it's fun to see Yu-Gi-Oh! Because, like, they don't really know how much the game has changed. And then, like, a few days later, everyone's sort of like, I don't think I understand what's happening at any point in any turn. I saw, I think I retweeted this. I saw someone, wait, no, I don't actually have to go here. I have to go to Pater's house. This was a waste of my time. And yours, and I apologize for it. So we'll go upstairs. I saw someone who was like, so, like, I literally just lost to someone who had a train theme deck in Yu-Gi-Oh! And I don't know how this game exists in such a state that a train theme deck even exists. Ah, Zacula, welcome to the stream. I forget if you know anything about Resonance of Fate, but that's what we're playing while I talk about Yu-Gi-Oh! And yes, like, playing Yu-Gi-Oh! In just, like, a normal fashion, it just seems like everyone's cheating. It's a bananas game. And it has trained theme decks. Hello, would you like this iris tone? Oh, you found one, thank you. Oh, such a pretty stone. Yay, now I can get back to making new outfits. A dying request. It's a good name. Let's go to Pater's house. Here's an interesting question, Zacula. For someone who has context for how insane Yu-Gi-Oh! Is, but doesn't understand how this game works, which do you think is more difficult to understand? Because there was definitely a point where it was like, obviously, Resonance of Fate is harder to understand. And now I'm like, it's actually pretty close now, isn't it? Thank you for the 33-month resub, Angel. Much appreciated. Enjoy these cannons. Did I layer this wrong? I don't remember if I... No, I guess I want that cannon behind me. I know I thought about this in the past. It looks weird to me now because I'm overthinking it. You assume Yu-Gi-Oh! Is the most difficult thing to understand on Earth. I mean, it ranks closer every day. Every day we get further from duel monsters. Where did I just come from? Going up, right? Yeah. I think I did it right. Yeah. I will never not be annoyed at how it is set up that when you are on those, like, core lift runways, and you, like, get to the... You, like, run toward the camera, and when you get to the bottom of the screen, you're still holding the stick down, because you just had to run down. And, like, the text box comes up that says, like, are you sure you want to leave? And, like, it starts on, like, yes, I want to leave. But then, like, the one below it is like, no, I don't want to leave. And so because you're still holding down, it toggles down. And, like, every time I play this game, I'm like, you have to fix this. Like, I don't know how you didn't fix this. Did you play this? Hello, Pater's maid.
Good morning.
Lassie Dew, Cardinal Pater's dog has gone missing. The poor cardinal must be weeping in his grave over this. I have no idea when the dog slipped away. Could you help me find him? The only thing is, Lassie Dew won't listen to anyone but me. Please tell me where he is if you spot him. Okay, goodbye now. So because I looked up, like, reminders on what to do in the chapter in order to be prepared, I know where to go, but it's not even a little bit obvious. You have to go to the Basilica. Why? Don't ask me, because I don't know. Luckily, I guess we previously had to go to the Basilica for reasons I don't immediately remember, but I know that there's a mission at some point that's basically like, do that. What are these people doing here? We have, like, old man with, like, an impressive ascot who looks like he just came from playing chess in the park. This lady's, like, all dressed up for, like, a really nice dinner party. I don't know what's happening here. Like, it looks like a cartoon grandmother's either reading out of the Death Note or, like, is, like, a spellbook user from Zatch Bell. And then, of course, the Basilica itself is just, like, a military complex filled with, like, turrets and missile launchers. So, like, what's going on here? They're about to play D&D. Oh, they're LARPers! And they're pretending to be in just, like, what they imagine, like, 21st century Earth to be like. And because they're so far removed from it, both in terms of time and location, being in the sky town of Basel, they all look like caricatures. That makes perfect sense, False Alchemist. Yeah, I feel like Zatch Bell does not get enough recognition, right, Alcadius? I was actually a pretty big fan of Zatch Bell. Is that a dog? Technically. Arguably, this is a dog named Lassie Dew. Now, it says whine, but it definitely, like, growled. I mean, normally I'd be like, wow, look at that dog. It sure looks more like a bear. But, I mean, well, I don't know. I guess we have seen a lot of dogs in this world, and they look a lot closer to normal dogs than this. I don't know what's happening here. Whimper whine. Alright, let's go back and talk to that lady again. What do you think all those characters' classes are? I made this path really bad because I just wanted to use the least number of X's. Like from noodle feeding time. Your snakes were fighting over the last food and tried to eat you. I mean, that's sort of the risk with snakes, right? I mean, with like a lot of pets, really. That's not snake specific. It's down one more. Hopefully, did they actually bite you? One of them's trying to eat the wall. Snick. Alright, I found... I think it was a dog? It's the closest thing I could find to a dog. Oh, goodness, you found Lassie Dew at the Basilica? I see. All this time, Lassie Dew was waiting in front of the entrance for Cardinal Pater's return. Or perhaps he'd gone to the Basilica to pray for Cardinal Pater. I'm sure that was it. Beast on the Loose. Ooh, we got a High Mount Elite. I don't remember what that is, but it sounds good. Oh, geez, your hands are covered in bites now? That sounds like an eventful feeding, not a productive feeding. Productive feeding probably has way less bites and happier snakes. Okay, guesses on those characters' classes. TikTok idol, totally see it. School kid, gardener, gunmaster. In some games, gunmaster would be, like, overpowered. Pathfinder. But here, I mean, I feel like that's just, like, the neutral class, right? Okay, so I did that. I think if the thing I read was correct, I think she also gives me one of the other remaining missions for the chapter. I may have to go and return, though?
Hello? Hello?
Oh, you know what? I probably have to go to the board again. Didn't think of that. But I don't think there's a way to make that more efficient. Can you have... We'll find out. There is one other thing I have to, like, go and do, and I'll stop off at Apple City for the bulletin board on the way. Hey, you know what the problem that I didn't consider is? Is that I didn't look up reminders on what to do in Chapter 12, and we're probably going to hit Chapter 12, because this one's pretty short. Gunslinger and Pathfinder is somehow not as broken as other things. That may be true, Kat. I talk a lot about the Glass Cannon podcast and how they're like one of my favorite things. If you haven't listened to their Giant Slayer campaign, I feel like upon doing so, you'll probably agree that that class is very strong, at least bordering on overpowered. Making amends. Oh no, it's not her, even though I swear to God that's what it says in the thing that I was reading. But I still had to come here. But it's one of the LARPers who gives me that quest. Yeah, it says Peter's maid for both of them. Or sorry, Pater's maid. You lied to me! If I remembered any more lyrics from that song, I'd continue to reference it. Yeah, let's just go upstairs. Let's continue our LARPer discussion. Microphone still doesn't pick up me making weird mouth noises. I don't think that's a fault. Though I guess I want it to, because I make weird mouth noises. I worked really hard to try and improve my audio quality. Midway through last year, I bought a really fancy microphone, and then realized that I was much too stupid to use it correctly. And I've gradually tweaked it, and then spent like a bunch of time this week trying to get it to work correctly, and it mostly finally does, and I'm pretty excited about it. So... Oh no, I have to go to the Basilica, because the cosplayers are at the Basilica. Were you hearing all of the mouth noises, or some of them? The monitor was, or the mixer was suggesting that it was some of them. What's it? Hello. You lot are hunters, yes? And skilled, if my eyes aren't mistaken. Will you exterminate monsters for me? Those roaming around the Tower of the Righteous on level 11. I know that doing this sort of thing will never make up for all the sins I've committed, but I feel compelled nonetheless. Hang on, hold on. What does that even mean? Hiring a bunch of people to kill a bunch of monsters and me not doing anything doesn't atone for my sins. Like, probably not? Why would it? I don't think I understand the reasoning there. Also, look, we have a new LARPer crew. I like your vibe, but I don't understand it. We got like a shawl. Are those suspenders? That's a look, lady. Recently met Cardinal Lagerfeld. Ooh. It's the greatest honor of your life, huh? We maybe shouldn't continue talking to Sophie. And you're Assassin's Creed. Cardinal Rowan is so strong to dedicate himself to the prelate's ideals even after losing the person he loved so much. Yeah, I mean we could spin that positive, sure. What is this terminal? I don't need to know for a really long time. Terminal that doubles charge speed. That's a good one. That one's good. Okay, nope, we're hexing this. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of looking at it. Wow, we really don't have a lot of those, do we? It's usually when we have excess of. Do I have? Oh, I have a lot of this. There it is. I got a box. Never remember to, like, check what any of those actually are. That's pretty good. Hey, first aid. That's technically an item in this game. It's not this one. That'll do. Okay. No. Sure. I read that comment like just as I had hexed it. EV Point Master says, the hex is next to the elevator should have a bezel shard. Indeed, you are correct. It is one of the things you have to do at some point in this game, is you have to really just, like, hex the entire world open, because there are genuinely just entire bezel shards hanging out. If you're not deeply familiar with this game, like, the bezels are the resource you use to, like, do busted actions in combat. And, you're reasonably limited at the start of the game as to, like, what you can do. But by getting more bezel shards, you get more full bezels, which means you can do more ridiculous stuff. And, like, have more protection from, like, taking large hits from stuff that, like, normally put you in critical condition, which is super duper duper bad. I mean, at this point, like, might as well just go, like, whole hog, right? Noticing when I loaded up the game earlier that I don't know that I've ever really paid attention to the fact that, like, the, like, unenergized hexes have, like, kind of like a staticky, like, dancing effect to them. Is this a hex? It's more like a hex break. But, I mean, you know, you gotta give the people what they want, which is, like, not talking over video games. It's what I recall from many years ago. This works. There we go. It's kind of nice just to be able to walk around up here. I mean, we could hexisode. We could, like, when we finish this chapter, we could just hex, like, a lot. Until we run out of hexes. Which, frankly, won't take super long, because we're not actually, like, that far in the game. But, like, that's all on you. Do you want more hexing? Is that what the people want? Okay, this is, we actually have an old friend joining for the stream. Not surprising, it's the year of the tiger. Wink. Winky face. I wonder if Tiger knows that he is a meme that lives in my heart. Also a star pattern in the gray hexes you didn't notice for the longest time. That's news to me, and I was just looking at them. I mean, part of that is just like the HD quality upgrade. By the way, how's that going? Do people regret the choice to try and play on PS5 again? Dun, 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 dun. I just feel the need to save for no particular reason. We have done like a bunch of random crap. Right, I have to get down to level 11 and something else. What's actually the other one? Roadblock. Photovade. Elevator noises. You know, there's usually someone sitting outside the elevators in this game. Do you think that they're, like, dedicated elevator operators? They seem cumbersome enough that, like, I could believe that. These guys are lower level than I'm expecting them to be. I really wanted that. I definitely didn't need it, but I really wanted it. Oh no, I didn't fully scratch that man. Whatever will I do? It's possible it's time to give someone else the grenades after, like, grenading that level 100 fellow before and gaining, like, 7 total grenade levels in, like, 3 combats. Well, I actually didn't shoot him apart. I'm disappointed in me. I kind of wish there was a random chance of Zephyr would fall off the railing he's sitting on during the elevator cutscene. That would be pretty good. Could probably stand for a little variety, you know? Yeah, this is like a much higher level. It's weird that they spawn on the same floor at the same time. I know they're like different, like, regions or whatever. This gun is getting scratch damage for, like, way more often than I remember. I'm not totally sure why that is. I think I'm, like, a little bit better about making, like, reasoned decisions about when to, like, charge and not charge. But, like, I pretty much always charge machine gun. Because, well, no, that's not always. That's not true. That's absolutely not true. I just lied to you. Because, like, there's definitely, like, early on, we're just like, yeah, everything should get airborne. Let's just, like, shoot machine gun in short bursts. And I do think there are times when that's, like, a reasonable strategy. Because I think getting stuff airborne is easier than stunning stuff with machine gun. But typically you kind of just want to charge it. Pew! Triple gauge break. Yeah, we broke a couple gauges. We had some hostility towards, like, the speedometer. We're an 8, so it's down 1. There's some red squares here. I do not remember hexing this entire floor, or why. Not clear why I did that, but I did do it. What's this terminal? Likely. Oh no, I hate that. That's not good. He's made of marmalade. That's not a flare yeti. That's definitely made of some kind of like... That's definitely marmalade yeti. Don't... Okay. It's level 89. I mean, we did goof that one guy up at level 100 already this chapter. I feel like I could take a straightforward approach to this. It's not poison, he's like fire. It's not that bad. Some weird visual. Oh my god, these scratch damage fulls are unreasonably lucky. I mean, like, I'm just gonna do it again, right? Oh, it's, I see what I've done. I see what I've done. I understand now. I've never in my life encountered this. So many fun learning experiences during this playthrough. It's really been a treat between last year and this year. I'm using fire on a fire yeti. So I made him better. So here's what I'm gonna do, because I have enough bezels to just mess around. I'm just gonna like burn Leanne's turn. No, I don't even need to do that, because I don't need to keep resonance points, right? So change to literally anything else, but I have to scratch him again, because he's not at full. But I love how useless grenades are, that, like, throwing, like, 4 grenades at him and healing him did, like, nothing. But I, like, legitimately, like, even if I had thought about the fact that I was equipped with Molotov cocktails against a fire enemy, I did not know that worked that way. That's, like, straight up new information to me. After playing this game for, like, God, so long now. I mean, that's, like, 2 more whole grenade levels, and we definitely need to change equipment now. Like, a lot.
Ooh, if that was wrong, I don't want to be right.
Like, it's just not okay, the disparity in levels now. But that scratch damage full was really good. So good that I could afford to be extremely bad at the game and not be punished for it. So, like, that's a good spot to be in. Literally, he has twice as many levels in Grenade as Vacheron does. And almost all of those were gained tonight. No, all of them were. Right? I don't remember what he started at, but I think he was 9 or 10. So remove that. I'm gonna say... I mean, they're both pretty even. I guess you need it slightly more? Just have a submachine gun. Just for fun. Just as a treat. Yes, there's 9 levels higher than Leah. Yeah? Uh-huh. Yep. 10 levels higher than Vacheron. I guess this is what happens if you, like, actually intelligently use grenades. Also, apparently we got a bezel shard. I was just not even paying attention to that. Oh, no, that's the one we got from hexing before. That wasn't from that battle, because that was a mission battle, not a red square battle, where you would sometimes get that. I am tempted to immediately go to this red square, but that is actually a way that you can just, like, basically lose the game. Oh no, I didn't get scratch damage full for once. Cadius points out that Vacheron will have a chance to catch up real quickly because it's always his turn. That is true. If you're not familiar, it is somehow always Vacheron's turn. How many gauges can I break? 1. Oh. Probably did that too. Oh no, that's not too far. I'd probably want to be like probably something like this. have a problem? No. I broke a couple gauges that round. What? No scratch damage on that guy. I think I want to take out this Yu-Gi-Oh monster. Well, take out is a generous description for that waste of a turn. Focus on the damaged one first. Yeah, like this. Literal scratch damage full. It is wild how often that has happened. I mean, it makes more sense to target the leader, but he's like not anywhere nearby. Yeah, I don't think that last leg of that triangle would have been more useful spent otherwise. Although, he recovered all that scratch damage, like, instantly. So there is that. Let's do... This guy's trying so hard. I really kind of feel bad for him. Ooh, let's use the ramp trick. Let's see if I can successfully use the ramp trick. Where, I don't know if it always works correctly. I feel like it's a little inconsistent, but, like, if you walk off the edge of a ramp and, like, gravity pulls you down, like, your hero action keeps going, so, like, your charge rings will continue to charge. So you actually, like, if it doesn't, like, ruin your turn by causing you to run into something and stop moving altogether, you actually, like, get more time out of your hero action. It wasn't high enough to factor. Gosh, he still only broke his gauge one time. Maybe this time, scratch damage full? Might as well be. It's only level 37. I'm not gonna bother using the grenade since it wouldn't kill him by itself. It would be problematic. Try and finish out that turn. Not that we're really in danger of dying. Or that I, like, really need to focus this much on this random encounter that I could probably skip. Hey, Smackdown! Haven't seen you in a minute. I mean, this, like, we're probably good. I love watching all the limbs explode off of the extra enemies.
I hope you put up a better fight than the last bunch.
This one I'll skip. Unless y'all really want to see me just do every random encounter. Oh, I need to go down, right? Other end? No. Wait. Yeah. Yes. Core lift 3 is what I want. There's not a direct elevator, it's a core lift. What is there a meaningful distinction with the core lifts? It has something to do with the, terminals, right? Like, that's really the only difference between elevators and core lifts? If I remember correctly, terminals can cross elevators, but not core lifts? Is that the only reason they've made a distinction between elevators? I don't see you fight every level 1 gremlin, only them skip every other fight. Interesting. Interesting strategy, False Alchemist. Oh, Bona. I gotta be honest with you. When I checked the breakdown of, like, missions for this chapter, and it was like, go to the Tower of the Righteous, I'm like, literally, what is that? I don't at all remember what that is. Scratch damage full? I mean, good enough. That one hurt. Oh, I gave it to Vashon. I was thinking I gave the grenades to Leanne, and I was like, why does she still have healing items? But the reason is very simple, because I didn't do that. And when you think of it in that way, it does explain it. It just seems really painful. Everyone's shooting Vashon, huh? There's like a pretty reasonable chance this actually goes badly, but I'm just gonna stick with like the basic strategy here. Echo petitions that we should also fight that low-level thug that says, I lived, and then I died. You know what's the place where you sometimes maybe find the traveling merchant and literally nothing else? You know, honestly, that should be enough to remind me of the place. Nah. That sounds to me more like... What is that place called? On, like, floor 5? That's not... It's that place where you fight the first Tarman. There's like a location near that. Is just like the merchant who gives you a quest to get her signboard back, and that's like basically everything. Waterless Bridge. Oh, wait, Waterless Bridge is lower, right? Waterless Bridge is by like Actua or
You guys really know what you're doing.
is it? I don't know. I'm second guessing myself. We could check it on the way back up if I remember. That's a big if though. You know, the Tower of the Righteous. It appears to be nothing. Also, don't remember that. Doing all that hexing. It's so weird that you end up with these, like, huge disparities in the number of, like, hex shapes you acquire. Alchemist says, I'll be honest, I only know where to find Man-Truck, the rest is a mystery. But do you know if there's a legitimate way to beat the Man-Truck? The story of the legitimate way to beat the Man-Truck is like one of my all-time favorite things about making YouTube videos. Because it was like born from the intense frustration of like losing progress in a save file, and I was like, it's fine, I'll play back to that point, I'll just do it, shut up, I'll just do it. And then like when doing it, and like struggling to beat that boss that I'd never like deterministically been able to beat before, similarly to Lagerfeld at the start of this chapter, is just like, I'm gonna try stuff and hope eventually it works. But then like I figured out like, no wait, there's actually a really precise, repeatable way to beat the Man-Truck, but it looks incredibly stupid. Yeah, like Waterless Bridge is lower, it's on like level 8 sounds right. There's like some weird mission where you have to deliver something there and it sounds really sketchy. But there's, I forget what it's called, but like there's something by... I also can't remember the name of the place. It's on the level with Patertopolis, which is 5. There's like that town that's like the first dungeon. I want to call like Albion, but that sounds wrong for some reason. It's not Sean, but I appreciate you trying.
Jason!
I don't think it's Jason either. Dude, I love... I mean, you might call it babe. I think that's a little affectionate, though, for the rest of us. Is it Scraw? Is it... I don't know. Keep going. Maybe we'll figure it out. I've decided I just want to open up this little area for no particular reason. Forsaken. I mean, that's definitely correct because you looked it up and it sounds close enough to right.
Sure.
But it doesn't feel like, aha, yes, of course. Most of the soundboard options are good for trying to guess names, huh? It's the wrong button. Wow, I hate how perfectly I've done this. You know, if the single space that I hadn't hexed here weren't part of this mission I need to accomplish, there's part of me that would really just want to leave it blank to just like make someone really upset, and it's not a good instinct. I mean, I'd probably fix it before I left, but like that just seems like a mean thing to do.
I'm not much for backing down from a fight.
It's these guys. Is it just two of these guys? I think you can run from this battle. That just feels weird somehow. That was not scratch damage full.
Possibly get any better.
Huh. In order to make a triangle... I have to get close to this guy's face. It'll be fine. It'll break his gauge. Not hitting any of that luck this time around, which is probably fine. I don't think that can hit me, right? That feels like a bad use of your turn. Okay, and then we want... Oh, music is so good. We chat, without using the song titles that I think almost no one in chat would be able to recognize, tell me what your favorite song in this game is. Mostly I just want to see people try and describe it. That sounds like fun. Probably should just triangle, really. It's not a great triangle, but I'm trying to reform the triangle is going to be worse. So I should probably just kill one of these guys and then start working on a new triangle. I think that makes the most sense. Okay. Still not scratch damage full. Not ideal. Couldn't jump because at triangle. Some really unfortunate unconscious limb placement. I've broken this guy's gauge like once or twice. I love that I put a target down here and he's still like, no, I will flail in rage! Impotent rage! I have like a real big triangle with like not a lot of resonance points. Oh, that's annoying. He figured it out! Let them punch you directly. Isn't it, like, actually less bad than letting them do their weird special attack? I think that's accurate. Here, we're going for volume. We just want to, like, shoot bullets many times, because, like, we might be able to get there. Yeah, I mean, that's definitely worse. For the record, that's definitely worse. This'll probably be fine. I mean, we did spend our bezel cases to get health back, so this is probably fine. Well, we got one bezel left, so I'm going to say that 4 resonance points probably enough. I'm pretty good. No broken gauges. Slims are really soaking up that damage in a way that I don't particularly condone. Maxed out our bezels, though. This should be good. I mean, it's good. I mean, that was good. It was good. This music's really good. Let's see. Do you use the most expensive booty thing for your booty? Ice Bunny, I would love more context for that, or maybe that's just the right amount of context. I don't know. Is that just you want to spend more channel points on some big thing? Because I've been trying to come up with more channel point redemption options that aren't just spammable soundboard things. False Alchemist says Sweet Home is his favorite song. No idea if that's the Sweet Home theme. I mean, there's a very good chance it's called Sweet Home. Kadia says, like the song that plays when you kill the emo scientist in Wino Albino. Echo says, give me a minute so I can listen to over 100 Resonance of Fate tracks to pick a favorite. I'll wait. Probably shouldn't do that though, huh? What's fun is that, like, there's typically, like, an A and a B track for at least every combat song. Where there's, like... I forget... I don't think it's simply Critical Condition... Because, like, Critical Condition has its own theme song. So I think the A and B is sort of, like... It might be for bosses, or it might just be for, like, longer areas. Where, like, the music will change when you get into new spaces. Or maybe it's like idle music versus like you're doing hero actions, actually. That's possible. I should have let Leanne do that. She's level deficient. This is a good song, though. Hey, Deja Vu, I feel like I've done this fight before. You got stun shot. Stun shot's not bad. Stun shot makes me a little more willing to just, like, get right up in this guy's business. Unclear if that'll turn out badly for me. Stunned animations, especially on like larger characters, look so ridiculous. It looks just so absolutely silly. You know, people say that you won't use like certain skills that you learn in school outside of school, but like I feel like you have to have a pretty good understanding of geometry to, like, do this game right. Yeah, I mean, I guess it's just like that. Break some gauges! That didn't work. Position is better than the one I used last time, and yet functionally it is not performing better. Pew pew pew. mean, that's an awful lot of stun shot. Not mad about that. Well, you may have gotten a D in geometry, but Arcadius, like... I mean, did you have geometry before playing this game? Because I feel like if you took geometry now, you'd be like, of course, triangles, they're everywhere! Let's try something different this time around, so that I don't have, like, my whole bezel gauge broken open. Like, that worked fine last time. But maybe we can do better. Since we're obliged to do the whole thing again anyway. Probably like there. I do hate that his arm is there. It's not where I want his arm to be. But it's fine because I just shot all around it anyway. Okay, bear with me, because this is going to look really stupid. But I think this is correct. I think I move here, and then have Leanne cross to that corner, and then have Zephyr cross, and then triangle. Probably. Probably.
Here goes. I'm watching here.
I was really hoping that would break a gauge. Had no reason to think that, but I was hoping. It's the optimism, you know? Keeps you going. Times are tough. Found a use for trigonometry. I didn't, but Japan sure did. I would love to know just like everything about the creation of this game. It is genuinely one of the weirdest video games just ever at all. Like there's lots of video games that are weird for specific reasons, but just like trying to understand whoever created this or any like individual element of it is fascinating and truly bizarre. Please break his gauge into small pieces. Wow, that didn't happen at all, huh? 5's probably enough since he's like really well positioned. I think I did a better job the second time. We'll see though. It's not a great shot. Please remove his limbs for the betterment of future shots. Ham up in his face, that should help. Oh my god, his gauge is extremely broken. There are almost no Froud remnants of his gauge remaining. And I know just how to finish this. Probably switch back to the more bountiful Molotov cocktails. Guess they're actually equally bountiful. I hope you get some good sleep, Ice Bunny. Thank you for stopping by. I hope you enjoyed some of this game, whether or not it makes any sense. Spoiler, it doesn't.
That wasn't so hard, was it?
There we go. Got a grenade level out of that.
They break too easy.
I mean, do they break too easy, or do we have an unlimited number of bullets? It's been interesting to take in the landscape of, like, the surrounding areas of the Sky Town of Basel that you don't get to go to. That aren't particularly easy to see in the non-HD version. By the way, chat, how are we feeling about this visual quality? We good, or no? Or some big gears in this world. This big geary world.
This shouldn't take long.
It's actually Now, normally, historically, when this game assigns you a task of doing like three predetermined encounters, two of them are exactly the same, and one of them is slightly different. But all three of these are exactly the same. And that's weird. We found a way to, like, not accidentally take lethal damage one time, so... I guess we'll go with that, if I remember exactly what I did, which I don't, but I will hopefully figure it out in due time. When you have to do, like, precise positioning on top of, like, elevated areas, I find the right stick click-in thing to be more useful than general use. But I have started getting more used to using it. It's something I, for a while, like, genuinely didn't know existed, like, at all. And then, like, was kind of just, like, resistant to using because I wasn't familiar with it. It's still not my favorite, but it is definitely useful. Somehow I always stun that guy, and it's just good. Right? I don't think it matters too terribly much. This gauge is always broken. I must punch nothing! Ah! Echo says you reached the section of the playlist with Christmas music. Square Garden up to disc 5, music skimming. Seems like a pretty involved task. I appreciate the effort. I think I made this triangle a little too small, but probably fine. That was not great. I mean, I've broken so many gauges, and yet I've managed to do, like... Wow, that was just, like, not a lot of scratch damage, huh? Alright, I guess that makes things interesting. Well, I don't have to keep current position because I don't have any resonance points. So, here's what I'm gonna do. Do a little run, and then position myself someplace near where I want to be. I'm gonna shoot off the scratch damage with Leanne, and then I'm gonna want to cross with Vacheron. Which means I want him to be able to go as far as possible, which means I want her to be pretty much, like, as close to the edge of this box as she can without going under. Fear that scratch damage. Ooh, that guy's, like, stuck on the corner in a way that's beneficial to me, and not particularly smart. But he's sort of figuring it out. Leave my Zephyr alone. Know that, yeah, I don't think that guy's quite gonna get killed. I mean, I appreciate the fact that you did, like, the minimum amount of damage you could manage for no real reason. I mean, let's just see if we can shoot him apart. This guy's higher level? I don't know why that... I mean, I made a slightly smaller triangle. I don't feel like it should have made as much of a difference as it did. Right, and that was 3, so I have access to whoever. So I should cross on Vacheron's side so Vacheron can cross more. I mean, actually, whatever, this is fine. I'm playing, like, needlessly cautiously by making it so I could set up for, like, another hero action before try attacking. But I don't see a reason not to do it. He's all stunned and everything. Just standing right there like a big old goof.
That was your last.
Probably this way. I think I could jump over this guy. If I don't... Even though I was, like, practically standing on that guy's head, it worked out. You're just, like, all up in this gentleman's business. Instead of just, like, shoving him, like, directly under Vashron, the physics of this tri-attack are truly astounding, even by this game's standards. It's amazing. I'm glad to bear witness to this. It is something to behold. I'm not breaking, like, any limb at all. I'm not sure this particular enemy was making fun. I think he's just different. I think he wanted to greet us with a friendly, enormous punch, and we just misunderstood. I'm not gonna bother wasting a grenade on that. Only because their finite resource is difficult to replace.
Sayonara.
I did it! So I think that's everything. I don't think there's any more things to do. Okay, so we got like an hour-ish left to go. What interests us most? We could hex, we could go red square hunting, or we could go into chapter 12, which is my personal least favorite, but I am amenable to it. It's just that I am not going to remember what that chapter has in store, so it's not going to be super efficient. So, like, I feel like you get less mileage out of that hour that way. I want to leave. Is that a problem? Is it a problem to leave? No, it's barely fine.
Tail between my legs isn't really my thing.
If you hex to the other side of level 12, you can get like 8 bezel shards. That's like some amount of exaggeration, isn't it? It does sound like a challenge, though. Neko, why would it be problematic to want to put like a bunch of that music in your top 10 songs? This game has excellent music. The down is here, and I haven't gone to it. I think there's a mission that makes you do that relatively soon, right? Ah, single escape hex, everybody's favorite. I mean, I just want to do it. Oh, right, there's 2 ways to level 12. But, like, wouldn't I have to hex both of them? I guess I don't have to hex both of them. But, like, shouldn't I?
Hit the target, kill, repeat.
Whatever time of day this is, it looks
Run away
unpleasant.
with my
Probably
tail
because
between my
the
legs
sun is
isn't
out.
really my thing.
It is interesting that there's just, like, a bunch of optional bezel shards at a certain point in the game, like when you get down to this floor. I have to hex my way over there, huh? Cracks knuckles. The other one, right? No, that still doesn't really work. Dang. couldn't do that without, like, burning some unnecessary bezel. I needed, like, one extra hex unlocked there for that to look less ridiculous than it did. Okay, and then... done completely arbitrarily because I just already had that hex shape out. And through these little quad Tetris guys real quick. But try not to do that. And I need what goes the other way. Probably could have done that better, because I think that means that to proceed, I need to use the one I have less of, which is silly. It's a dumb thing to do. It's really difficult to explain the hexing process. It's like spatial reasoning and intuition, so it's just like, yes, I am currently hexing. Do you have any go-to hex strategies, chat? You try to be efficient, or do you just, like, jam them, knowing that eventually you'll just get, like, limitless hexes? Hey, toxic rounds that sound cool that I'll never use. GG. Sure. Don't necessarily need to do the whole floor, but if I'm gonna hex my way over this narrow passage, I might as well fill it out. It's not like it's Andantino's secret passage, you know? Hey, who shaped this floor of Basel? Who's the engineer? Like, did we start from the ground up and we were like, hey, this should be, the base of our sky town should be a dongus? Or did we go through, like, the 11 levels above it and we're like, I'm so out of ideas, I'm just gonna do the most obvious thing I can think of. Grigliano made this. Why do I get the feeling that Garigliano made this is, like, the thing that he says at the beginning of whatever equivalent of, like, rap collaboration tracks exist in the Skytown of Basel? Garigliano made this. You know, like DJ Khaled's Another One. Look at that shape. Shape is amazing. Hex strategy is just throw it in a place that fits. I do try to be efficient most of the time. There's times when it's just like, oh, I just have to get over there, and I don't want to bother with this now. I feel like I care more about it than tech does. Which isn't like a criticism. I think it's just like a fact that, like, I just care slightly more about doing this inane thing. Is it? I feel like it's the other level 12 that has most of the bezel shards. Am I wrong? It was telling me to go over here. I feel like it's the weird windy one that I remember better that isn't just a dongus, that, like, has most of the stuff. Gosh, I sure do have a lot of this one. Oh, how many straight line pieces do I have? Like, not a lot. Should be enough. Not really paying attention to most of what I'm getting. Armor-piercing rounds. Those are an item. I got a hair ribbon named Clay. That's a choice. What's the... This one. It just looks like two of that thing I don't want to use. There's got to be another way. That works. It's not like extremely more conservative of resources. Feeling like I'm getting a lot of bezel shards here. I'm using another one of these. There's gotta be a way that doesn't make me use one of those. I mean, I guess I could just use... I just have so few of the quad ones. I really don't want to use them if I don't have to. By quad, I mean the just like group, the fist group, the clumped up one. There, I got ab bezel shard. I did this part of this floor. This all done. That was fun. Or do the other half, I guess. If I wish to get more than ab bezel shard, which was sort of the express purpose, right? No, don't do that. Whatever, I'll kill him. He is not difficult. I mean, he's gonna recover like a bunch of scratch damage because he has just no limbs, and that's how that... Did one of them just kill themselves? Why are you doing it? Why have you chosen this path, Wrecking Baller?
This must be my lucky.
I think we got net one bezel shard. That feels like that's not like a lot of bezel shards, as suggested. Save for some reason. What do you mean go to level 12? I was on level 12 on the side I just hexed. That's how I hexed it.
Lucky for you, I don't think it's sporting to shoot someone in the back.
Just gonna leave.
Running away with my tail.
Hexing the path to the shop. Wait. What? Wait, what? What do you... I'm genuinely confused by this, by what is meant. Admittedly, I've spent less time on level 12 than any other floor. By, like, a lot. But I don't remember there being some secret cache of shards that just lives in a space I walk into. That's not real, is it? Oh, this is still floor 11. That's what I figured it out. This is still floor 11 because I had to go down from 10. Now, see, if someone just yelled that at me, it would be a lot clearer to me what was happening. This is the experience I'm used to, living on Twitch. Do you still love me? Do you think me beautiful? I don't know why I decided to use a hero action for that. It wasn't wise. Pretty sure you, like, just straight up lose that, right? I mean, you get it back, like, next time you end a combat. This is the one I was thinking of. There's a lot of it here. I'm genuinely not sure if I have enough hexes for this. Is a consideration. Okay, anti-bolt, which I guess is an item. got a trophy. I'm the repairman. Hey, I'm really curious. If you're watching this on YouTube in the future, first, hi. I hope you're doing well. Secondly, having reached this portion of the video and are still watching, are you pleased that we've taken this turn towards a hexasode? Or are you disappointed that this has occurred? It's actually pretty... Oh, that's nice. It's actually pretty rare among Strong Weeks to include a hexasode segment. So, like, someone might actually be excited about that. However, also possible is not that. And I would love a really informal poll. Okay, Nego went to great lengths to answer my earlier question about music. Although, not to say that your quest to actually find favorite Resonance of Fate songs is in any way invalid. That was mostly a goof question to see if I could get people to try and describe the sounds that it makes. But I appreciate the level of effort gone to here. Top 3 Resonance of Fate tracks: Square Garden, Basilica, and Home Sweet Home. Huh. I don't think I immediately remember Square Garden, and I only kind of remember Basilica. It's been a long time since I, like, just listened to the soundtrack myself. I got a lot of these. Geometry! The name of the sub-game! I've been half paying attention. We got an embezzle shard yet? I know they're down here. Get more of those, like, good, long energy hexes. Hexen. Shit, that's fine. Neither pleased nor displeased. The hexasode is merely its own form of entertainment. Ah, so a lateral move from actually playing the game. That makes sense. Oh, Square Garden is the Christmas... Okay. That makes sense, then. The Christmas music is really good. As we all know, Christmas is coming. I did specifically put one of my Christmas-themed Eevees on the couch behind me as a reminder that Christmas is coming. I mean, at least it's giving me Hexen to help finish hexing. There we go, there's a bezel shard. I thought for sure, Kat, that when you said neither pleased nor displeased, you were going to make some, like, overt reference to the, like, neutral people from Futurama. Whose lovely, like, testament to the YouTube like and dislike bar is now forever ruined. Although I guess it's optional to turn that off, so maybe they left it on. Does anyone know if that's true? Because there's a... You know, there's a Futurama clip of, like, these neutral aliens, and there's this whole joke throughout the episode that they just don't feel strongly one way or the other. And, like, someone took, like, a clip of, like, one particular exchange from that, and, like, people on YouTube kept the like and dislike bar at, like, completely even forever. It's permanent unless you get an extension? Wait, I thought it was optional. I thought you had to, like... I thought you had to check that in the video settings. Which, now that I'm thinking of it, I haven't seen that, so I don't know why I thought that. It's so dumb. It's such a dumb thing. It's such a bad... I mean, ugh. Just, ugh. Never watched Futurama? Well, I know what you're doing after the stream, Cat. It's watching Futurama. Because it's really good. It's genuinely, like, maybe my pick for best television show of ever. I mean, there's certain shows that are better at specific things, but, like, best all-around show, it's like a good chance it's legitimately Futurama. It gets a little complicated when you start talking about the later, like, Comedy Central seasons or whatever, but, like, is great show. Yeah, Neutral Alien is about to have his ship destroyed. Tell my wife I said hello. What season is Disenchanted on? I watched the first one and wasn't super impressed. And I feel like I heard not great things about season 2, but I admittedly haven't watched season 2. I feel like I'm just like breaking even on hexes, which is probably good. Oh yes, same for me, False Alchemist. One Futurama episode permanently ingrained in your brain is the one where Fry eats a gas station egg salad sandwich. That is an excellent episode, and like a really stupid premise for an episode that, in true Futurama fashion, is pulled off like flawlessly. It has one of my favorite quotes that I use regularly that no one even knows is like a reference to something, which is, "What about what?" Because, like, they shrink down to get inside his body to, like, fix him after he gets, like, a really horrible parasite from eating the ill-advised sandwich. And, like, when they're in his eardrum, someone just shouts, like, "What?" And, like, he's trying to have, like, a normal conversation and doesn't know that people are shrunk down inside his body, and so he just asks, like, "What about what?" Really good episode. Disenchanted is closest we get to Futurama. I mean, that's fair, except Futurama still exists. So, like, it's not as though, like, Futurama is, like, banned or something. YouTube just decided to ruin that very good internet thing by being YouTube. Hero gauge up! So that means we're up to 3, right? That's the second one from this floor. We got one on the floor above, and we got one on the Basilica floor. Hey, you guys know what's coming other than Christmas? That's right, it's the sequel to AI The Somnium Files. Get excited. They're gradually releasing more and more information about it. The premise is really interesting, which, you know, makes it similar to the last one. Except the last one was also AI The Somnium Files. So, you know, pros and cons. Oh yes, Neko. Hey, it's a Bezel Shard. And there's no way I'm not streaming that game. For those of you who don't regularly watch my live streams, it is a weird sort of choose-your-own-adventure mystery game by the creator of the Zero Escape games, which I know I've talked about many times, both in RC content and my own stuff, which are just, I absolutely love those games. And, like, they have their flaws, but I love those games to death. And then he, like, gets, like, a brand new franchise to work on. It's like, there is a groundwork here to a game I really like. And for some reason, it's filled with, like, kind of uncomfortable characters and, like, lots of overt references to, like, adult material in a way that doesn't really enrich the story or experience at all. And thus it is somewhat infamous as a game that I've streamed as like, oh, okay. Do I think I'll be trying the new Quantic Dream Star Wars game? Yes. I know that there's all sorts of legitimate reasons to boycott Quantic Dreams, but like, as I said when like news of that first came out, like, look, I'm sorry, but like Quantic Dreams is like one of the only game companies that's making like a style of game that I really strongly like, and so like, in a way, I feel like I need to vote with my wallet. Like, more ethical companies can have my money if they just make the game that I want. So I'm gonna spend money on the game that I want to play, and I'm gonna play it. And this is as much apology as I'm going to make about that. But yes, in short, definitely planning on playing that. Even though I'm sort of like a medium-level Star Wars fan, I'm not like super diehard, like, I just want another Quantic Dreams game because they make games that I want to play. And, I mean, that trailer does look super good. It's obviously not a gameplay trailer, but it just it feels like it captures the sense of a cool Star Wars thing. Whether it turns out to be a cool Star Wars thing, who knows? So I guess the idea here is that we're gonna get a lot of this faffing out of the way in segment 1 of Strong Week, much to everyone's chagrin or something. But you know, at some point we'll be past this and we'll be just progressing through chapters. But I really didn't have enough time to prepare knowledge of more than one segment, and I was like really like passively challenged to like get a bunch of bezel shards here that I probably don't need. But it is kind of interesting. I don't know that I've ever played this game in such a way that like I've just immediately gone for these bezel shards that are available at this point in the game. So it's just kind of interesting to have that experience also, just to see what that's like. Because it's not like it's cheating. It's like it's just available if you're willing to hex it. You always need more bezel shards. They don't hurt. They are both your health and your ability to do gun nonsense, which are really important parts of this game. I'm annoyed at how that has lined up in my life. Just gonna spend another long one on it. That's fine. I think after we finish hexing this, like, we could just, like, hex all the way down to 12 on the other side or something, but that, even to me, that sounds insane. So I think I'll go, like, save, and then, like, do some red square boss hunting. What else can you flex on the cardinals? Name another context where you can say that and it doesn't sound just like you're having a stroke. What else can you flex on the cardinals? I mean, I guess American football. Probably the other one that comes to mind, right? Cardinals are football, right? I am not a sports guy, and I'm not going to pretend like I am. There we go, we found 4 more. This baseball, there you go. Storming the Vatican in Assassin's Creed 2. Yeah, that works, huh? Oh, so harkening back to the earlier discussion of all the random card game knowledge that I have as a human, I played through Inscription, really popular indie game from last year, on stream, and I had kind of like mixed feelings about it, to be honest. But like recently I've just been on this kick. I've been like putting on some background stuff to do work, because like the stuff I had previously been listening to like just had like a dip in amount of content. It wasn't like filling my work week. Oh, look at how terrible that is. There's gonna be an extra. No wait, 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, that's fine. And like watching other people play through the game, I think one of the big things that like really skewed my perception of the game after playing through it towards frustration is that like I feel like the game leads. I don't want to get too heavy into like spoiler territory. I've posted those to YouTube if you want to see my playthrough. A ton of people have done playthroughs. It's a very popular game. It's very good. I do recommend it. But I think one of the things it did that sort of like gave me like a negative view of the game is like it builds all this suspense of the character Luke as if his story is going to be the big linchpin of things, and I like really wasn't satisfied with how his story plays out. Like, I don't feel like that ending is very satisfying. But like if you focus more on like the other characters in the game, it is like it's very effective. I don't know. I find myself still being kind of frustrated at the game. And I can't fully voice it. It is a great game, though. It really is. Like, I was thinking, if they made, like, a sequel to it, like, unless it looked just absolutely, like, stone terrible, I would, like, play it without question. Even having, like, mixed feelings about how the first one ends up.
Just a waste of ammo.
But if you're looking, like, if you are also a fan of, like, just, like, nonsensical card games, that game definitely has you covered, with a few fun surprises along the way. Has anyone... I know there were a bunch of people in chat who played that game. Has anyone played Casey's mod? They basically made... I understand it to be a free mod by the actual game developer that extends what is probably the most popular portion of the game into essentially its own experience, which is interesting. So what floor should we go to for red hexes? Where should we go and do some guns? Should we try to do ones on the way down to floor 12 there? I assume those ones are, like, pretty difficult. But that's why we saved first. You know what? Let's do this one by Mine 24. I just hate the way that's structured, that, like, little bridge there. Ah, I don't need this. I don't need this, I don't want this.
Isn't really my thing.
I'll probably stand to finish hexing this corner.
Do this just like all the rest, and everything will be fine.
Oh boy, everything about that is just wonderful. Like, just this like, pan into... I assume that's a doll as a reward for beating Rocketfoot. But there's just something really funny about just this, like, really dramatic look at a Balker with, like, a merry-go-round and, like, a creepy doll in it. And then, like, Leanne's, like, kind of dramatic, but, like, also kind of, like, passive, like, alright, just kill this monstrosity wielding a carousel and everything will turn out fine. What's your actual... You're level 50... That, like, shouldn't be very hard at all. Like, that shouldn't be hard at all, right? What was this? What am I missing here? Is it just the fact that, like, nothing in this room... No, he just really doesn't have a lot of health. I'm gonna try and break his gauge. First, we'll clear the damage. What's that camera angle? What's happening there? Tuned in on some particular anatomy. Just look at this. Just look at this bizarre thing. Are you seeing this? Am I the only one seeing this? Here, I invite you to hit me. Scratch damage full, you know, just cause. And grenade him. That was, like, not even a little bit difficult. Like, at what point did this red square spawn that this is like a boss?
That was more fun than I thought it'd be.
It's interesting. I don't know that I've seen a lot of people have a similar take to that, Neko. I feel kind of similarly myself. But, like, Inscription shot itself in the foot for a plot that no one cared about, because the world and atmosphere were interesting, and we weren't given a reason to care about Luke's story. I think I feel the same way, because part of my frustration is, like, they add all that stuff with, like, Luke's story, and I feel like I just was expecting it to build towards something. Because, like, they kept hinting at it, and the hints were, like, cool, but they, like, weren't really a whole story. And then by the time it got to the end, I was like, but, like, why then? And I feel like that sort of goes hand in hand with what I was saying before about, like, the focus. It's like, because they put that storyline in. I feel like the game wants me to focus on that, and I got frustrated because I didn't like how that turned out. And if that wasn't there, I feel like I'd be focused on the stuff that did work. So I think I'm inclined to agree with you. Okay, I'm just gonna... Just don't mind me. I'm just a light hexing. A little more hex as a treat. I guess I should go up and save before going back down to do what I presume is a much harder one of them. Running low on those. Running low on lots of stuff. Just, I feel like there's a better way. That works. I think that uses the bad L shape, right? It does, but that's fine. That's acceptable. Just because I was sick of looking at that. I could do this one, but I'm not going to, because I mean, saying that I value your time feels disingenuous after this much hexing, but, you know, we're here now. I'm gonna keep saving over this same one, because I don't want to save over the one that was the start of this chapter for safety reasons. Alright. It's a good reminder to not have grenades equipped. Now, you could argue that this experience is level grinding. By hexing all that stuff, you get the bezel shards, which is like sort of getting more health in a way. And doing these boss fights is like extra experience and whatever. What is the Tower of the Righteous?
What have we here?
What have we here? Well, of course, it's multi-aid R-EX times 1. So that's what the Tower of the Righteous is, and also why I don't remember it. That answers, like, all of my questions. But, like, I don't know. I don't think it's, like... It also has a doll, huh?
I've made it this far.
Puppeteer. I mean, again, I'm not getting the impression that this is, like, a particularly difficult enemy. So I'm not sure when these all spawned. I mean, I'm not sure I'm gonna get, like, direct scratch damage on this guy. He's got, like, infinite limbs. That's fine, we can make triangles. We're just talking about geometry and trigonometry and all that. So let's see. If I cross with her to, like, the far side... Probably something like... there? Oh, I'm so sorry, it's his house. It's Zephyr's house? I didn't mean to welcome uninvited stream guests to his house. Did not intend to do that. I'm so sorry for party rocking. God, these gauges are unbreakable. I think I'm just gonna, like, keep doing nonsense until the game prevents me from doing nonsense. Or until I win, one or the other. Like, this looks real stupid, but, like, we're making a triangle. We're triangle builders. Oh, that's a lot of damage, huh? Alright, that's fair. I'll give you that that's a lot of damage, and I walked into that by getting, overconfident. You know, I've heard it's a slow and insidious killer, and, you know, every now and then, it's important to be reminded of that. Okay, so, like, maybe let's not just build infinite triangle. get cheeky in a different way. See how punished we get. Yeah, something like there. And then Leanne crosses to, like, close to where Vacheron is. And then he crosses to... I'm not thinking this all the way through, but I think this will work.
I'm working here. This is fun.
Can we break his gauge at all, even one time? I think the answer is a resounding maybe. But perhaps not. I think the notion is to, like, go here, which risks a bunch of damage, but I think we'll be okay, and then triangle after this. That's what I think the notion is. Mostly fun. Not great, but mostly fun. So this way, in this direction, yes. Gunshot's cool. I'm going to recover some health brain. Pick off those limbs, maybe. Okay, might be able to get, like, a direct shot there now. Limb should come off pretty easily. The hat comes right off. There we go. Okay. Just shoot him. I got the doll known as Milky Snow! Actually, sometimes you just have to stop and consider how great Leanne looks with a BFF and the Love Me shirt. It's all very good. It's a great look. It transitions well from day to night. It's just all purpose, you know? Wow, I did not realize, Neko, that your opinions on Inscription were so similar to mine. Is that, like, the game, like, works really hard to cultivate this sense of mystery, and the game itself doesn't pay it off. It works hard to pay it off in these other ways that, like, don't satisfy me as much as just, like, focusing on, like, the game and its own story. I completely agree with that. But I don't want to harp on this too much, because I don't know that everyone watching Residence of Fate is familiar with this. But again, I don't think we've spoiled anything too major, but it's a great game that I do recommend. I went to the wrong one.
Just like all the rest, and everything will be fine.
And if it sounds like I'm being critical of it, like I am, I have mixed feelings, but I still think it's a good game. Especially if you, like me, are a fan of card games and nonsense. And, like, a lot of people feel like it should have won, like, a Game of the Year. So, like, this is a pretty good indicator that, like, it is generally a well-liked game. I have to say that I'm really happy with It Takes Two winning Game of the Year. When I finally had a chance to play that game, like, wow, that game experience was, like, everything that I want a game experience to be. I was extremely happy with it. Start to finish, like, really no actual major complaints about that game, which is almost unheard of from me because I love to just hate things. Full Metal Gear! That's a 77. That's a 57 and a 57. Now this I expect to be difficult. Even though the level isn't super high, this feels like this is similarly to the last one gonna just, like, do a bunch of damage, right? Be a big old glass cannon spider. Let's just try a straightforward approach and see how badly that goes. I'm gonna start with scratch damage. Oh, okay. It doesn't have a lot of health though, huh? In the scheme of things, like not a lot. Not a huge quantity of health though. So maybe it won't actually be that bad. It's actually less scary than the doll thing.
I like it a lot. Straight to hell.
I mean, its damage isn't nothing, but like I just expect more from boss squares, and I don't think I'm over leveled. And also, like a lot of the times, these red enemy squares, I don't know the official name for these. But like oftentimes, like if you go to one of these squares like right as soon as they're first available, they'll just like wipe you out. Like just wipe you out completely. I mean, the shape of this arena makes this look really awkward, and it is awkward, I'm not gonna lie about that. I should here because I'm a little concerned about landing awkwardly. It's fine. No, you did a good job, Neko. I'm more concerned about something I said being accidentally spoiler-free, but or being accidental spoiler, but I don't think so. The game does like its mysteries, as mentioned, so I just don't want to spoil any of those. Look at how bad that is. You know, I'm gonna do it. I'm not gonna not do it. Instead, I'm gonna do it. Dare turn your cannon nose to me? Why does it feel like the red hexes, like, on higher levels are just, like, genuinely more difficult than what I'm finding down here on the levels you, like, have to encounter later in the game? I'll go to Perfect Aid. I'll definitely use that one. Definitely.
Let's get this over with.
Or wait, no, was that just a random encounter and I got distracted again? That's it, isn't it? That was it.
This isn't worth getting killed over.
Was there one here? Now I can't remember. I'm just gonna assume I was dumb. That sounds right. It's the only one we have down here right now, right? Seems like a good one to try out and to fail at.
Kill the first one of you who looks me in the eye and take it from there.
This one feels vaguely familiar. I don't remember exactly what's bad about it, but I think this one's actually bad. So I think I should focus on a smaller group down here before going into the narrow area where they can do more harm. Oh no, you're right, I got a perfect aid from that, so that was a red space. Thank you, Eevee Point Master. I'm so focused on I don't know what that I'm like losing my mind slowly. Welcome to Quantum Strong Week. Early or late? Wow, they're all hippity hopping, huh? I have concerns about that. I want like a midway point. Can I break the gauge of a slot machine? Nuh-uh. Okay, they do a lot of damage. That could be worse, but that is like a lot of damage. All focused on Leanne, which like isn't great. So I don't think their health is like unreasonable. I just wasn't able to do any direct scratching, which is sort of a contradiction in terms. So the idea here is because Leanne's taking a bunch of damage, I'm just gonna have her, you know, skedaddle a bit. and then hope that because they all hip-hop very rapidly, that they'll come towards this corner and I can try attack them or something. So this is the case for grenades for real. That's an interesting suggestion. I'm not good at using grenades in a for real fashion. I mean, I'm just not gonna get a lot of actual damage out of this, which is fine. It's really gonna come down to like what their movement pattern is like. It looks like they're mostly doing what I want. Look at those 6 shots. Ooh, my feelings, you have hurt them. Okay, so because Zephyr has taken some damage, he's gonna skedaddle, is the plan, you see. Skedaddle? Keeping this one airborne means I can, like, kinda do damage to it. I think the box angle was going to keep me from targeting it for much longer. My headphones are doing something weird, and I'm really tired of it. It's fine. Okay. Is this enough? It's probably not gonna get, like, a lot better than this. I'm going to run this way because I want them to be coming back when they're all grouped. 5 points. Hopefully we can take out a few of them, and then they're just not doing damage at a rate quick enough to kill anyone. Don't actually probably... Yeah, they don't have a ton of health, so I don't need, like, crazy amount of charge built up. Didn't get the direct shot. Thought I could at that angle, and I didn't. It's not what I wanted, but I'll take the shot. No, I can't. Nothing good is gonna come from this. I didn't kill nearly as many of these as I wanted. They have too many limbs. I probably should have focused more on that before doing the tri-attack, but I don't really know how I would have managed it. At least my, like, bezels are full. Let's... I'm not sure I'm capable of making a reasonable triangle here. It's not something I'm used to having happen at this point in my Resonance of Fate career. If I do this, she can cross to there, and he can cross, like, awkwardly, but I think that's actually fine. Also, the one we were shooting at is, like, furthest away from everyone, which is, like, definitely awkward. So we're just gonna focus on trying to, like, break limbs off of these guys for, like, a better dry attack, assuming we live to one. That's kind of interesting that he's now, like, kind of far away. One more. Well, that's clear as this. Also interesting music I don't immediately have recollection of. Probably just like Lord 12 area music that again I have not... God, they move really fast, huh? Gotta go fast. Alright, so if I like have just like an absolutely abysmal Vacheron turn, then I can have him cross again and do a triangle that looks like a human being, like, devised it for an actual specific purpose. And that honestly could have gone worse. No, don't do it! Don't! No! No! Okay, this one is targeting Zephyr. And I would like him not to do that. Yeah, I mean, feel free to celebrate Resonance of Fate and Strong Week on your own channel, Arcadius. As I mentioned at the very top of the stream, Strong Week falls late in the year, and this is actually pre-Strong Week that you're watching this live. Strong Week doesn't start until Monday, or Sunday, depending on exactly how you treat it. I think we've done that a little inconsistently over the years. Sunshot. Okay, live. Okay. It's fine. It's fine. It's going to be fine. We did need like every single bezel shard that we had. That's why you go to floor 12 to Hex. I really don't like starting with direct damage character on an important try attack, but I think we're doing that, though. Uh-huh. These slot machines are definitely surprisingly scary. They're the amount scarier than they look that the other enemies we've fought on these red squares during the course of the stream are, like, less scary than they look. Like, those ones, it's like, but they're like a boss, right? They should be hard. This one's like, it's a bunch of random enemies. It shouldn't be hard, right? Man, he's not hitting those at all. There it is, finally. There's still one after this scratch one. Sort of lost track of it in the chaos. No? Okay. Threat suppressed. What do we get? Wasn't a doll. This. Oh, it was perfect aid. We did it, everyone. That's scary about the slot machines. The fact that like one attack from them does like a third of any given character's health. They move really quickly. Sometimes, like, with the slower enemies, even if they do, like, way more damage than that, you can just sort of, like, run to the other side of the room and, like, leave some kind of natural barrier in the way. And then it's like, oh, that's not such a big deal. No, we didn't get much in terms of prizes from these red squares, but, like, they seem like something to do at some point, and they're experience if nothing else. We should fit one more in before the end of the stream. See if we can find one that's like close to a save point or something. Any active on this floor, right? God, these random encounters. Where's a rappel when you need one? Restaurant's like so close to machine gun leveling. Would slot machines attack people in the world of Resonance of Fate? Well, you know, slot machines are also known as one-armed bandits, so I think someone just got confused that they should be aligned with the bandits from like, floor 4. And they're like, oh, okay. It'd be funny if they also accidentally gave them, like, the same lines of dialogue. All of the active red squares are either higher or require me to hex level 12 on the other side, which I don't want to do. I'm really thrown by that one boss fight, like red hex fight in particular, that had like these types of enemies, the like Full Metal Gears. Wow, it's the spawn rate. Having a go, huh? But like it just like its level of difficulty was low enough that I genuinely confused it for a random encounter. Like, not trying to be funny, I was like, wait, did I accidentally just think that was a random encounter? And then someone pointed out, like, no, you got a perfect aid from that. And I was like, right. What? Don't understand. I love everyone's outfits so much. I wish I could pull off like a real life Resonance of Fate outfit and not look like a gun-toting psychopath. Yeah, let's do one of these. Go to level 8. I just want to find a save.
They'll be dead before they have a chance to regret it.
I want to do a save in case one of these is actually like a really bad boss. Neko asks, is there any particular reason why you and Tech decided on the first week of February for Strong Week? I forget exactly how it timed out, but like when we finished, when we were approaching the end of our first YouTube posted playthrough of Resonance of Fate, it was like around February, and I think it was that we were posting a bunch of content that week to sort of finish the game. If I remember correctly, the first Strong Week was when we posted the like all the cutscenes edited together and the version of that has our commentary of trying to make sense of it based on like my research into stuff that's like not terribly explicit in the game. And then that was like the week because we made it like a big celebration, and that was Strong Week. And then at some point, like a few years down the road, it was sort of like, well, like February's in sort of an awkward position. Like, do we celebrate it like this week or like the week afterward? And then I think I just like really arbitrarily was like, look, it's just the first full week of February, and that's how you know.
It might not be the best, but I've made it this far.
Safety dwellist. He can dwell if he wants to. He can leave his friends behind. This doesn't look super hard. I don't think I've really put off... Like, I think early on in this playthrough I was doing, like, a bunch of the red squares on, like, levels 4 and 5. I don't know why these ones feel like I'm, like, over-leveled for them. Like, despite the fact that I'm like, yeah, I guess you could call some of this grinding, like... The only, like, levels we've really gained are, like, a couple incidental levels in, like, handgun, I think, and then, like a bunch of levels I got in grenades from doing, like, a chapter mission. So I don't think I'm, like, over-leveled, and I don't think I waited too long to do these. I'm not sure why these feel so much easier than I'm expecting them to. I mean, these guys have a lot of limbs, and maybe they do a bunch of damage. Like, this could be difficult, but I did manage to, like, actually hit him. So how bad's this? Okay, group poison damage. That's pretty scary, not gonna lie. Okay, broke his gauge. Chill, cool. I mean, I'd prefer it if you would stop that, though. Everyone fell down except this guy. I like that the one person I have equipped with something that reduces the rate of status effects is the one guy who didn't get caught in the crossfire of the poison explosion. Guess I should try to shoot this guy, huh? I'm gonna spend like a whole hero action on it. That wasn't bad. I think it's triangle time. him off. Not quite. Hopefully that... Is it? No. Still no, huh? I think we have to... Oh, hi! You're in a different spot than I left you, huh? That ought to be enough to finish you, right? Okay. Come on, hit him. There we go. Please finish that. Okay. Even with our reduced health, I think like 3 against 1, we should be fine. That's probably fine. It says, remember doing this one under leveled and having a hard time. That tracks. I mean, like, anytime you add poison in, I forget where it is, but there's some place that has a red hex that's like 3 the tall golem guys with the big guns, and they like all do poison damage. And when I was like trying to do some like test recording footage this week, I like picked that one as like a random fight to do, and I'm like, oh yeah, no, this one I'm under leveled for. This one's bad. And I was expecting like closer to that level of difficulty. And you know, like I said, when I saw the poison, I was like, oh, okay, no, that's, I mean, this isn't like unduly difficult, but like anytime you add in poison, it's like, oh, yep, there's challenge. Challenge is here now. Pew pew! I mean, I wish you wouldn't. I've asked you nicely. Let's get him airborne, just for fun. We'll keep him on our level this whole time. Until we, like, actually trigger... It's really extremely bad bonus shot. Good times. Literally, like, not even gonna get a shot off. I just want to, like, triangle effectively, so I'm gonna have her, like, run to the bottom of the ramp, and then we'll triangle to finish him off. It's, like, basically the same number of actions as just, like, awkwardly having Vashron, like, do a non-triangle-oriented hero action to get the scratch damage up. Might have been that one. I mean, that one's definitely hard. The one with the 3 gun guys is bad. This one doesn't seem as bad as that, but, like, I don't remember what the precise level of the other one was. It's just, like, 3 of that enemy is just, like, tougher to deal with. I think they just have a lot more health regardless of level. Yes, please run towards me. I will give you a big gun hug. It's kind of like a hug, except it's mostly bullets and I'm actually shooting you to death. Don't walk.
They break too easy.
Perfect aid. Got a lot of perfect aid. I could use one right now. You know, what with all the direct damage from the poison. Not going to. Gonna go save and then end the stream.
This isn't worth getting killed over.
So we'll be back tomorrow for those of you watching live for more Quantum Strong Week to determine whether we're early or late. Hard to say. Not sure yet if we'll be playing on the PS4 or PS5. I'll work that out to some extent. Went the wrong way.
You want me on offense or defense?
Leanne goes both ways. Good to know.
Hey, save it.
I'll try to run up to Ebel City. I think I'll rest here just in case. Gun hug is harmless as long as it's a machine gun, and also as long as nothing else in the interim does a single point of direct damage. But I will also be streaming Resonance of Fate next Friday and Saturday, my usual stream times. And we'll be posting these to YouTube. So if you're watching this on YouTube, that's how the schedule is going. If you're watching this as it's released, you can catch me live this coming weekend. And you have another installment to be uploaded to look forward to. Exit to world map? Yes. Dishwasher? Yes. think it might have been that one by Patertopoulos that has all the angry gun guys. So I've already seen the cutscene, so I should be able to go in here and save and not trigger the next chapter cutscene, so we can just do the next chapter tomorrow. I don't know if anyone's actually enjoyed this, like, complete faffing around episode. We did complete a whole chapter, it's just a short chapter. And, as a result, I mean, I actually feel pretty good about the fact that we, like, did a bunch of red squares and whatever. But I hope you have enjoyed this. As I said, I'll be back tomorrow for those watching live, and we'll be streaming again next week. What chapters are left? This is 11. It goes up to 16? Yeah, I ended up doing a lot last year, more than I actually remembered of the game. I don't know. It's possible we might dig a little further into February to finish it, just to, like, have finished a playthrough. I have not decided on that yet. There's, like, a lot of things that I want to stream, so I'm a little impatient for that, even though I'm excited to be doing Strong Week stuff. I'm excited for a bunch of people coming out and watching live. I hope you did enjoy this red hexisode, red/hexisode, because it was sort of both. I hope you've enjoyed finding a place to lay emotions down and learning the legitimate way to beat Cardinal Lagerfeld. But all of that being said, that leaves one final order of business for those of you who are familiar with my streams, and hopefully you are, at least from last year's Strong Week postings. That does mean that it's time to locate a secret Squirtle. Somewhere on the couch behind me, I've hidden a secret Squirtle. If you can see a Squirtle, like this guy poking out from on top of behind Big Brown Bear, well, that one's not a secret. Beyond that, there's not so many rules. See if you can figure out where Squirtle might be hiding under or behind one of our other plush friends, while I enjoy some of this 100% juice apple. Because, of course, to locate a secret Squirtle is an omen of good luck in the week to come. Yeah, if you're watching this live, let me know your preference between trying to play on PS4 or PS5. Hopefully I'll have it set up so it goes both ways tomorrow, and we can make a decision then. But I do just want to hear people out. Give the people what they want, and, not talk over video games, as mentioned earlier. Oh, you have your Resonance of Fate mug for the stream? I still have mine that Tech gave me many years ago. Which I think I think that was a part of Strong Week, because I remember that it was in February when he did that for me. I don't think it was actually specifically related to Strong Week. I think he meant to give it to me at a different time or something. Anyway, I see a couple guesses there, and I'm tired of wearing these earphones, so that's a bonus. See if there's any straggler guesses here from anyone else watching live. But I see someone thinks perhaps Squirtle is hiding on top of a secret Squirtle, which is entirely possible. And guess inside our dinosaur basket. Well, let's go check it out. If I happen to see someone else's guess, I will call that out as well. But those of you watching on YouTube, play along at home, why don't you? Or save it, I guess, if you want. Oh, hey, look, actually, real quick. In the background, on the left there's the open 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. sign that I think was attached to the grape sign we saw earlier, huh? That's a fun fact that I didn't know about that. Alright, let's start with Brown Bear. I think that was our first guess. Here's the most recent addition to our Squirtle arsenal, but again, hiding in plain sight, that's not a secret. Hiding back there to prop him up was a team of Unicorn and Baymax, but unfortunately, not an additional Squirtle. Inside this dinosaur Easter basket, which is quite the marvel in and of itself, is a Marvel hero of sorts. It's Big-Headed Groot. But regrettably, also not a secret Squirtle. In fact, this time around, I've hidden the secret Squirtle Behind Carlos the crab and under this enormous loaf of bread that will collapse under the lack of support. That didn't go as badly as I expected. Behind this very good crab was the location of the secret squirt. Didn't see any correct guesses in chat this time, but of course there's no losers playing this game. But you at home may have found the secret Squirtle, and if so, enjoy your good luck. Oh, I know, this crab is the best. Have you not seen him, Neko? This is Carlos Crab. He's the newest addition to the couch. I have my screen reversed for my own sanity reasons, but he's clawsome, and he has a heart on him. Apparently, there's a version of this crab that isn't clawsome and just is a very, very good crab, which is still excellent, but this one is vastly superior because it is clawsome. He's so good. I love him very much. He has the big hug energy that I crave. So that'll do it for this first installment of Strong Week 2022. Thanks all for being here. Thanks for being you, and I hope to see you again soon. More Strong Week coming this week and next. And like I said, hopefully have a fun, really fun surprise lined up, but I'll have to coordinate a bit to make that happen. Yeah, that'll do it for tonight. Thanks for watching, everybody. It's been real filled with bullets. Just real filled with bullets, like a whole lot of shooting and guns. Brat, all that.